Good evening, and you have reached your 6 o'clock news brought to you by MBG only. Psych, nah. We're back for episode 2, season 4 of MBG Speaks 101, and my girl is back in the building. But let's just shout out this season: patriarchy, power, and pussy. And so we do not use that term in a vulgar manner. We really are talking about something very, very, very important. So I definitely want to welcome everybody back. And one of the things that I want to make sure you understand is that this topic was influenced a great deal by Amber J and her passion for seeing what's right and really getting to the root cause of things. The other influential piece in this is the Me Too movement and the fact that we do have an individual who is currently a Supreme Court justice who seemingly is an alcoholic and can't hold himself together even when he's just talking about himself. So how is he going to rule on something when he probably hates the situation that's going on? But anyway, we figured that it's best for us to talk about this system which generally is ran by men. And so welcome back. Welcome. Amber J, welcome back, guys. She was under the weather, so I don't know what to say, but I'm excited. I'm excited because we're getting ready to rock it out. And so, Amber J, before we really dive into this patriarchy piece, because today we're talking about patriarchy, what you got to say? Welcome back.
Adios. I'm back, B's and H's. I
can't take it. I cannot take it right now.
I was under the weather last week, so I'm back. I'm here, fresh, doing my thug thizzle as always. Great to be back in here, to be on TV doing another season. Season 4 is such a great number. And we're really hitting on something hard. We've always come with mental health. We just come with the real. This time we come with the 3 P's. The 3 P's. Nobody else is talking about this stuff. They're equating this to the political parties. And it has nothing to do with the political parties. I mean, we do history lessons all day, every day. So, we can take this back all the way to when nobody here for real.
Exactly.
But we're not going to do that. We're not
I'll be good.
Yeah, we're not going to do it. We're just going to give you some lessons. Again, inform you, educate, and get you prepared to make informed decisions and sound decisions, because we do have an election coming up, of course, November 6th, midterm elections. I don't know about you. I don't know about y'all. But my phone has been blowing up with phone calls from people I don't know. Numbers I don't know. And I'm getting text messages out the woodwork, and they've been hitting me door to door.
Well, I blocked. Well, I put the robocall on because my thing is, what I struggle with is that, when we signed up to vote, I don't know about you, I did in my government class. So I think when I signed up, I was probably 16, 17 when I took government. And the interesting thing is that I'm trying to remember, didn't you have to name a party then? I almost feel like you had to name a party at one point. Well, anyway, the older I've gotten and the more I began to learn, and let me go back again, the more I got to learn the political administrative dichotomy. Because see, what I'm having a problem with, and I just had to kind of speak this piece today. Political parties are nominal, which means name. If you know anything about statistics, nominal means name. Political parties are nominal. They are a name. One person does not define a political party. And the reason I say that is because, and we're going to talk about current events, so I don't want to jump too far out there, but what we have to understand is that just because someone identifies as a Republican or just because someone identifies as a Democrat, that doesn't mean that they're a representation of all Democrats or all Republicans. So we need to do that and get that out the way first and foremost. But we have to discuss this idea of patriarchy. And so last week, one of the major things that we started off with was making sure that you understood what the definition of patriarchy is. And basically, historically, when you speak of the term patriarchy, patriarch, the man. So basically, we were talking about patriarchy as a society or government in which the man is the dominant or sole proprietor of that infrastructure, which means what? Women are largely excluded, or in today's society, women are either overlooked, underlook, or just whatever.
Right.
We hear you, but we don't hear you. So this idea of patriarchy, and tonight is all about patriarchy. The idea of patriarchy is that the power is held by the man. Now, where my Bible scholars at out there? Because what's happening is that a lot of times, this all goes back to that though. This all goes back to, people want to pull the Bible in. Well, the man, da-da-da-da-da. And I just feel like this. I honestly feel like we often have to step up and step over to make sure that things get done. Okay? I would never say I don't love the essence or respect the essence of a man. I would never say that. But what I will say is that I also understand that men think differently from us. We are more detailed. Okay? We are more analytical in nature. We're a little bit more logical. A lot of men are more practical. They need it at face value. And so with that being stated, when we talk about this idea of patriarchy, ideally what we're saying is that this idea of patriarchy is a set of ideals that will keep women oppressed if you allow it. Now, I will say that I don't personally feel like this patriarchal system, and MBG, I want you to chime in. I don't personally feel like this patriarchal system is set up to really disenfranchise black women. Matter of fact, I don't even think it was made for us. Because the reality is that we weren't counted when this whole patriarchy thing came into place. So my thought is that this system of patriarchy, it has a biblical foundation, and it also has a European foundation. Now, there are some of you out there that the first thing I'm gonna say, they talking about white people. No, I said European. I said European.
Black people that live in Europe.
Thank you. I said European. Shout out to our West Side Connection, JP, because he on his way to Europe right now. Y'all know last week he said he going with his good white people credit, so that's what we're gonna go on. But really, really and truly, what I need you to understand is that we are in a situation where patriarchal society is infecting these United States of America. It's already affected other countries. So let me tell you this. This is what you have to think about. See, everybody's thinking about this whole patriarchy thing in the essence that, men rule the world. But think about in other cultures where women can be killed for looking at another man. Or if a daughter gets pregnant before she gets married or not by the person that she's supposed to be married to, marriages are arranged. That's patriarchy, ideology. And so we have to try to figure out what's going on in these United States of America that's similar. Amber Jane, where are we at?
Just to give history, because I had to roll my eyes, just to get some history on this thing. At one point in time in the world, it was not patriarchy. The women, it was divine femininity.
Hold up.
Back in the day.
Okay,
the women were supreme, were revered. The man, of course, was seen as the warrior, the protector, but it was always the woman, because the woman is the foundation of creation. So she's created everything. Everything comes from her. Why not? Why would she not be?
Oh. Wait a minute, hold on. How many? Wait, 1, 2, 3, hold on. 4, 5. Oh, okay. I'm just making
Why
sure.
not? Why not? She would, of course, she would be revered in that way. And a lot of cultures still to this day do that. There's some cultures where it's one woman and 5 men, and the men take care of everything, in the household. It's cultures that do that, but you don't talk about that. You see the more so the dominance of a man.
Okay.
And, at the end of the day, this thing has to have balance.
That's true.
This falls back to what we talked about on Sipping Tea with MBG, the toxic masculinity.
Oh.
This is what it goes back to.
Go back to Sipping Tea with MBG.
That's what it goes back to. Toxic masculinity. It's too much of something that can just spill and it just be over the top. You have to have balance in everything that you do. And please feel free to give us, the call and voice your opinion.
And look, if you want to call us, whether you're in TV land or whether you're Facebook Live, you can call us right now. Matter of fact, I would love for some of the men who are watching to call right now. 804-915-5202. The reality is that I think this topic is crazy because we are two women and we're talking about patriarchy. And I think Amber J and I alike definitely embrace the essence of the African American man, period. And we say this because men were the reason this platform was formed. So we respect men, but what we don't respect is the ideology which supports the fact that men hold all the power.
Yeah, that ain't weird.
And when I bring you power next week, you'll understand why. But we definitely have an issue with that. So one of the questions that cross my mind all the time is that why do we have such patriarchal influence in our governmental proceedings? And when I say governmental proceedings, I'm not just talking about legislation. I'm talking about in the judicial branch, and I'm talking about in the administrative branch, which would be equivalent to the executive branch. Why don't we have a woman president yet?
Ain't there one woman on the judicial? Was it one or two? But one. It
was Sandra Day O'Connor and Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
She sat down because of her husband. So now it's just one. One. And then how many's on the board? How many's on there?
What is it? Eight justices?
8 to 1. And she can be a deciding factor to sway. Isn't that crazy? On a liberal standpoint. Now, if it's all men, as I've seen on social media, be on the lookout. Wade versus Roe. If it's all men,
That's true. That's true.
Feel like they can talk and say what we can and can't do with our own bodies.
Well, the reality is that, and that's my thing. I feel like patriarchy, number one, power is already divided amongst members of society. And this whole patriarchal thing pretty much divides us relative to gender. All right, and one of the things that I want to bring out, because we're going to bring you facts. So one of the things that I want you to understand is that when we talk about a person's sex, we're talking about the biology of that person. We're talking about that biological makeup of what divides individuals into men and women. However, when we talk about gender is different. Gender are those cultural characteristics. So, for those of you who are homophobic and for those of you individuals who have issue with homosexuals, remember, sex is biological. Gender is social and cultural, socio-cultural. Please understand. Amber J, what are some of the ways you feel like men try to control women?
Oh, it's by trying to be dominant, over-dominant.
Okay.
Over-dominant. Okay. Saying, well, a woman's place is in the kitchen, in the home, because, of course, they got that ideology from an old school parent, so forth and so forth. Okay. So over dominance, and just not knowing who he is as a man, which will overextend to, well, I'm not sure in my place or who I am and what I am. Okay. So I'm going to be over you because that's what I see, or that's equivalent to being a man. So like I said, being over dominant, being over the top, maybe putting hands on you, different stuff like that. Okay. So if he's not sure, then he can't run nothing, can't say nothing. It's going to be extra again. Toxic masculinity. It's going to be extra. Okay. Now I'm gonna throw this one out there. So Amber J just kind of alluded to the physical control. In 2018, it's my personal opinion that men have begun to push and embrace their patriarchal ideology through emotional and mental play. Yes. Yeah.
Because a lot of men know that we are emotional beings. We are emotional creatures. And so what they don't want to admit is that indirectly they're a lot more emotional than we are.
Oh, yeah.
But because of toxic masculinity and patriarchal ideology, they hold it in. They hold it in. They hold it in. And they run from it versus attacking it and addressing it head on.
Right.
That's why I'm not going there, because we're going to talk about that in the next segment, Ray Caruth. But I'm just saying, that's why we have such high violent crime rates. Now, the interesting thing is that if you guys really look at statistics, we have more female fights in public schools now than male fights. When people try to break up male fights, the guys stop, but females just keep fighting. My thought is that now females are fighting to prove that they are just as tough and they are just as relevant and prevalent and just as necessary as men. And I do believe that Generation Z, and you know I'm going to talk about y'all, Generation Z, the newest lost generation, this generation is going to be the generation that cuts these gender stereotypes. Because I think what happened, we're millennials. And so we had to create our own way. Because what happened, Amber J and I were born to an interesting group. So I was born to the silent generation. Y'all know my mom and daddy was getting it in late in life. So I was born to the silent generation. Dad born in 1929. Mom born in 1938. Amber J was born to a baby boomer. So the both of us were born to individuals who were of that patriarchal society generation. However, the interesting thing is that my mom was just like, I don't care when I was born, one thing about it, you might be the man of the house, but I run this ship. But at the same time, she respected him as the man of the house. She gave him, and y'all see I'm using quotes, she gave him, you know, that, yes, you're the man, baby, you got this. But at the end of the day, Betty Lou was making sure stuff was getting done. Because what I know about a lot of men is that they want to have it, or they got it. But they so disorganized. Oh my gosh. And if you think about it, that's why they can't get these laws passed. Because they so unorganized. They want to wait to the last minute to get things done. And you can't work like that. A lot of people feel like they do their best work under pressure and crunch time. That's not the case. That's not the case. Because what happens...
That actually shows anxiety. That's a part of anxiety.
Ooh.
It's mental health. But...
Oh. But you know what? This patriarchal ideology is the reason that so many men have undiagnosed mental illness. And that's the other thing. And this is straight out to our guys. Guys, if you're watching, if you're listening, and guys, please call us. If you're listening, whether you're on Facebook Live, whether you're watching on TV, wherever you are, call us 804-915-5202. We want to hear from you. We don't ever want you to think that we are bashing menfolk. We love you guys. We love you. We love you. We love you. But we have to talk about this whole patriarchy thing for what it is. And what's going to happen is we're going to kind of shift and transition. And what we're going to shift and transition to is kind of looking at the reasons why Brett Kavanaugh and Harvey Weinstein and Hugh Hefner and all of these individuals are idolized for how many hoes they had. However, Lil' Kim, Anna Nicole, you know,
Queen B,
Lily Mae,
Amber Rose,
Amber J, you know, if we got 4, 5, 6 men, we hoes.
Yeah,
we hoes. But men are idolized. Why? Patriarchal ideology and toxic masculinity. So Amber J, let's speak to that though. Like, well, I probably should speak to it, but I'm gonna let you I'm gonna let Amber J handle that. But it's just like, why? Why? Because we then have to look at feminism, we have to look at gender bias, but we also have to look at racial bias too. Because where Bill Cosby is persecuted, Brett Kavanaugh is idolized. And R. Kelly doesn't even matter because the females that he was pissing on weren't of any stature. But why do you feel like what is it? What is it all about?
Ego. It's ego.
Okay.
Like a boost of some sort, because it's been inbred and intertwined into the society along with racism and other things that are making it the foundation of it all. It's just ego. It's like the example came to me. What's the guy? I hate talking about them. The only boy in the Kardashian. What's his name?
Oh, I don't know. You know,
the only boy in
I
Kardashian.
can't.
Know, yeah, that's
I can't. Old. But anyway, but because everybody that deal with them go crazy.
So he and Black China got together. Oh, he was big up like, oh, that's crazy. He got with Black China. He took she was with whoever and yada 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 yada. And then, she a hoe, whatever case it be, she done been worried about it. She fake, whatever. Then it's he got a baby by her. He's stupid. Why should do that? But the females was bigging her up like, oh, get that bag. Because now you done infiltrated the family and you got a baby. You see what I'm saying? So one time he was bigged up, then it was like, oh man, you was cool until you got her pregnant. Now you got to deal with her for life. But if he didn't have the baby, he probably still be like, oh, you got Black China too? Well, Rob Kardashian. What else can he do? It's just another one. What's the thing they keep cheating on? Khloe. The basketball player.
Oh, Lamar Odom.
No, the other one, the basketball player, Tristan.
Oh,
Tristan cheated on this girl.
Sorry, I can't.
Fifth time.
I can't even take them serious.
Again, he got a baby by her. He's bigged up because, oh man, you smashing out on Khloe, but you still out here doing you? And she's looked at as, but then again, she is a Kardashian. And I'm using these examples because that's been the conversation. It's been ego. It's just ego. It boosts up. It's like that's what the man do. If he go out here and cheat, long as he provide, he good. He a good man.
But wait a minute. But that goes back. And y'all know Lily Mae keep it real, and Lily Mae is very transparent. And I know within my own family, I have heard elder women in my family say, oh, I knew my husband had a girlfriend, but it was what it was. What goes on in this house, say, I'll be doggone. And y'all know I'm country, I'll be doggone, because my reality is this. Somebody got to show me where the Bible say divorce is wrong. Somebody has to pinpoint that, because I don't think that the God that I serve want me to be no fool and be in no mess, because God is not in the midst of mess. And y'all know we not trying to make this thing religious or anything like that. But the reality is that we have to use common sense. So many people use the word of God to suit their own selfish needs. And that's not what MBG is about. We are believers. We believe in a higher being. But the reality is that we have to call a spade and a club a club. And we also have to understand that throughout history, if it were not for women, a lot of things wouldn't have gotten done. Who held down the fort when all these people were over there getting killed in Vietnam?
Women.
You feel what I'm saying? You have to understand that I get patriarchal ideology. I respect men. I respect men to the fullest. I tell everybody, you know it. I respect men because I saw a man live a life before me that men should be respected. But I also know we got these boys out here too. Who act more like matriarchs than patriarchs. I'm just saying. So, I struggle with this topic of patriarchal ideology, and it's hard for me to conceptualize it in our culture. And I just have to be blatantly honest. Patriarchal society and patriarchal ideology, it was accepted and embraced by our culture, and I mean African American, Native American, Indian culture. I'm going to say it like that, because the reality is that if you really think about our culture, and Amber J know where I'm going with this, and she here today, there was a reason why in what year?
Oh, Lord.
1793. There was a reason why Willie Lynch had to speak to the black woman, because he knew that in our culture, whether that's Native American, and see, that's what I need you to understand. Native American culture, and you know someone say Native American, then African American. I need you to understand why I'm going there. But in our culture, we are the strength. I'm not gonna say we are the strength.
It's interesting that you say that, because Willie Lynch, a white man, who was like the predominant go-to, look-to on how you keep your slaves together, saw in our culture that the woman had strength, and said you have to go through her to break down. He saw it. What is the problem? Why is that Rams blind?
And you know something, and it just really brought something. It just really gave me a revelation. You know, I'm not gonna be too out there with this, but you know, a couple of months ago, when I was intertwined with a good friend. And it was almost like, you know, wait a minute, that's my nigga, you know what I'm saying? But what I realized is that, y'all, this generation coming behind us, they gonna fix all this stuff. But we have to give them the motivation. We have to give them motivation. But look, guys, we're going to kind of bring it to an ease right now, but we will be back in about a minute or so. We are going to take a break, only a 2-minute break. So, guys, please, you know, if you have to step away from your television set, check us out on Facebook Live. Once again, it's Patriarchy. We will be right back, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about patriarchy, but we're going to get into these current events. But I want you to call in, guys. Really, if you're out there, 804-915-5202. Once again, I'm your girl Lily Mae,
Amber J,
and this is MBG Speaks 101 Season 4, Patriarchy, Power, and Pussy, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Hey, everybody on Facebook Live. So check this out. Everybody that's on Facebook Live, what are your thoughts? We really want to hear from you. If you're actively watching, comment and let us know that you're actively watching so that we can shout you out. We always like to shout out the individuals that are watching. We would love to definitely, we would love to bring you on, you know, we like for you to call in. Guys that are watching, we would love for you to call in. Please, please, please call in. And just let us know. Hey, Solo, I see you. Solo, you need to call in and talk about this patriarchy thing, because I think I know what your thought would be. But yeah, we definitely are excited to have you guys with us. But if you are in the Greater Richmond area, you can check us out on Verizon 36.
Who would say Comcast 95?
Hey, Cliff, how you doing?
Who would say Comcast 95, but they said something wrong with 95?
Yeah, they said Comcast 95. Cliff, do you have any input on this patriarchy conversation? We would love to hear from you. Shout out to Miss Classy of Classy Entertainment, Miss Classy LLC, Miss Classy, all of that. Shout out to everybody over there on Amber J's Live. And remember, guys, if you're not watching us now, you can see it on YouTube. It will be uploaded after the show, and also you can listen to this again on Saturday. The reality is that we would love to really hear from you guys. We definitely need you. We need you to call in. Men folk, call in. But what I will say is this next generation is going to fix this thing. This next generation is going to fix this thing. So we definitely look forward to talking with some of y'all. So, and if you don't want to call in, type your comments in. Type your comments in and let us know what you're thinking. Because one thing about it, y'all know Amber J and I not going to pull no punches. And remember, it's never our intent to offend. Never our intent to offend. We're only here to inform, educate, motivate, and inspire. So we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Oh, wow. You can edit it?
You can. Oh, what? Oh, we got to put that plug in there. You're listening to Sipping Tea with MBG on Saturday at 12 noon with Amber J, Lily Mae, Adam the Editor, and JP the West Side Connection. Tune in every Saturday. Wow. Guys, for real, we haven't even did the call to action yet, but we need you to vote. Straight up, we need you to vote. Okay. All right, guys, we're getting ready to come back. And we're back. Thank you so much for checking in if you're just checking in. And if you've been with us the whole time, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And so this is season 4 of Sipping Tea with MBG. This is the second episode. And the theme for the whole episode is triple P, power, patriarchy, power, and pussy, in that order. And so today we're tackling patriarchy. Once again, we missing JP, the West Side Connection, but he's on his way to Europe. And so we definitely pray for safe travels for him. But guys, we really have hit some heavy topics. Now, I just got choked up because someone said, Tony, shout out to Tony Sosa. And guys, we're going to acknowledge social media comments because no one's calling in. So we're going to acknowledge social media comments. And Tony said, the problem is that love has been manipulated over time. So humanity is lost. Wow. Okay. So Tony, what I'm thinking that he's referencing is the fact that the concept of familial love and just generic agape love, all of that, I don't think you're referencing romantic love. I really don't think you're referencing romantic love, because I feel like we already know people's interpretation of love is crazy. You know, I think that people feel like, and this is a crazy thing, people are seeming to feel like in order to love someone, you sincerely have to have this long, drawn out thing.
Right.
And the reality is that I'm a firm believer that kindred spirits connect. When you come into, I always say, when you come into connection with someone, or when you come into the presence of an individual, and it always triggers me when I feel like, yo, we talked about this before, or we've been there before, or I feel like I've known you all my life. You don't take those things lightly. I feel like sometimes we miss out on the most important things and moments in life because we're looking for a physical feeling, and we're not looking for an internal spiritual thing.
Now.
There you go.
Looking for it right now.
Yeah, and so the other thing is, I talked about labels. Labels don't mean a hill of beans.
You sure don't.
Labels don't mean a hill of beans. And I'm talking about Democrat or Republican. I'm talking about husband and wife. I'm talking about president and vice president. I'm talking about mother and father. And this is real. Labels don't mean anything. Once again, this whole patriarchal ideology is representative of that. You can have a patriarchal ideology all you want to. But at the end of the day, if you can't deliver or reproduce something that's tangible, not just reproduce, because anybody that's a patriarch can reproduce, but reproduce something that's fruitful and tangible, what do you really have?
Nothing.
What do you really have? And so I shout out our men out there who are really trying to exemplify what a man really is, what a man should be about, and what a man longs to be about. Okay, and Tony, shout out to Tony. Tony Sosa is really out. He really out here in these streets. Tony said a label is a non-factor compared to genuine and honest energy. Oh. Amber J, I feel your energy. I feel it.
It's true. Because I'm probably gonna mess this saying up, but like what's known doesn't need to be said. So if it's genuine and honest, as Tony said, then does the label really, is it needed? Because it's gonna automatically flow genuinely. It's not gonna be forced. So if two people aren't on the same wavelength,
oh Lord,
on the same wavelength, or as you say, unequally yoked, one is gonna feel forced in the other.
Okay,
it's like you're gonna force it instead of letting things flow.
Facts. You know what? Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna have dinner. We're gonna have dinner the whole time. We're gonna have dinner and drink after this show. We gotta get it right. But really, guys, this whole patriarchy thing, and the thing is, being a woman, it's hard in 2018 to be a woman. Mm-hmm. It's hard to be a woman in a time when we are still fighting for our own physical rights. Like, we're fighting because if I marry someone today or tomorrow and we have twins, because y'all know that these Joneses and these Davises, they put out twins in this joint. So if we were to have twins and I'm like, okay, you know, this is it. Snip, clip, and burn them. You gotta have permission from my who? He ain't create this.
Right. Exactly.
My daddy in Floyd Hills Memorial Gardens, and my mama, he didn't create this. Like, we're fighting for our own bodies. We're even fighting for our minds. And the reason I say we're fighting for our minds because we're being infected by media. Media tells us that we need to look this way and look that way. And the interesting thing, I was having a conversation with a gentleman the other day, and we were talking about, you know, how media and how society wants this robotic, put together woman, but in all actuality, behind the scenes, men don't want these Barbies. You know, they want somebody that's going might uppercut them or something. You know, I'm a mean left hook and I'm dominant right hand. But I mean, really, just, you know, and trying to add some humor to it. But it's real. We're fighting. Men feel well, and I'm gonna throw it out there like this. Black men are fighting for their lives. But women as a whole, we're fighting for our bodies. We're fighting for our place every day.
Yes.
And a lot of us are being taught this patriarchal ideology by our grandparents. Mm-hmm. I can remember wanting to drive a race car. I can remember wanting to drive a race car. I can remember my dad having my brother a race car built, and I used to get to ride it, and I used to get to drive it, and then I can remember him buying us four-wheelers, and I can remember my grandmother saying, you don't need to be out there in that four-wheeler, you know, you're going to hurt yourself. And I'm just like, I'm just as tough as them. And you know, the crazy thing is, I would purposely do stuff that was dangerous on that four-wheeler to almost get hurt, so that I could prove to them, Grandma, I just rolled down the hill and the four-wheeler rolled on top of me and I got back up, and all because I need you to understand I'm just as tough as my brother. Mm-hmm. And the reality is that, and I know if Linwood were watching, or if his wife is watching, the reality is that it got to a point where I protected my brother, and I'm 5 years younger than him. So the reality is that we're always fighting for our place, whether we're fighting for our place because patriarchal ideology says it's okay for you to have 11 women and we supposed to focus on you. But if we do it, it's a problem. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Yeah. I get really, and then I get emotional because the reality is that we have to fight to maintain our bodies. For 9 months, our body belongs to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. To carry a legacy that you hooping and hollering about.
I'm just saying.
You hooping and hollering about a legacy that we have to carry for 9 months, that we may not carry full term. Something may happen. That's why there is martyrdom because of premature babies and complications with that. Our bodies, we're tough, yes, but it takes a toll.
It does.
When we're carrying stuff and it's rah all day long. Mm-hmm. We wake up facing trauma or something every day, and there's no consideration for the woman. It's like, okay, well, you the man, I'm the man, I'm this, I'm that, I balance stuff too. Okay, but again, like I said in the beginning, it's balance. At the end of the day, it's balance. Just, we know as a man, you facing 50-11 things. That's as right. Women, we're facing 50-11 things plus your stuff too.
Exactly.
We with you.
And Amber, but the other thing is, I think we got to drive this point home. Patriarchal society always references the fact that men hold positions of power. But I think the part that really bothers me is the fact that when they lay down at night, who do they vent to about those positions of power? And I really think that men with this patriarchy ideology, men with your toxic masculinity, you don't understand how your stuff impacts us. You don't understand how the stuff that you're carrying around, because men are hard, men don't do this, men don't, I get so sick and tired. And trust and believe, I will be completely transparent with this. I tell people all the time, I think my dad and my uncles probably would have had longer lives if they didn't live in that culture. But if you don't talk about it, it didn't happen. It's going to get better. So many people are stressing themselves out to the point where they are going into clinical depression. Yep. They're sending themselves into schizophrenia simply because they cannot get over that toxic masculinity of, I'm a man, I don't need nobody, I don't need you to understand this, you can't do anything for me. What you have to understand is this: women will always be your strength. Please understand that. And Tony Sosa hit the nail on the head. Tony Sosa said, without the woman, the man will suffer severely. I agree.
And I think that's perfect to go into that current event. Without the woman, the man will suffer severely. I think that's perfect to even talk about Ray Carew.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Ray. We're gonna talk about so gosh. Okay, I'm gonna let Amber J take it, but I want to say this before we start talking about Ray Carew. First and foremost, shout out to the grandmother of Ray Carew's son, the maternal grandmother, for raising a child who has comorbid disabilities. A child who is seemingly developmentally disabled, is suffering from mental illness because of the trauma. Because this child had trauma before they even stepped into this world. This child could have lost his life in his mother's body at the hands of this toxic, masculine man who seemingly laid down, did the deed, and didn't want to accept responsibility. And because of his status, patriarchal ideology and power, I'm getting rid of this. Why? Because I'm in charge. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna let Amber J give you, because I'm really.
That was pretty much it. That was pretty much the case. For those of you who don't know, we're talking about current events. Ray Carew, who played for the Carolina Panthers back in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. He got released yesterday, serving about 18 and a half or so years for conspiracy. I'm just gonna say the killing of his baby mother. His baby's mom. Yeah. The baby survived. Unfortunately, he has cerebral palsy and, like she said, other things. And the maternal grandmother has been taking care of him all the time. Looks just like Ray.
He does.
Looks just like Ray.
Just like
and so Ray came out or had wrote a letter or was hooping the house saying he wants to take over and be a father. But he wrote an Instagram to the mom, which showed the toxic masculinity part, saying, well, I mean, you're going to get old anyway and die, so you might as well just give me the custody and go on about your business. Which you can't say that to a mother of a child who you participated in killing.
Facts.
And this baby was getting ready to be gone, too.
Facts.
The lady was 8 months, and she fought to give all the information she could give to say this is what happened before she passed away. And unfortunately, because of the act itself, the child suffered not only from the trauma beforehand, but as soon as he came, it was delivered, day one, dealing with so much stuff. And again, because Ray was up here, he didn't want to be bothered with that. That was, you got money. He had the money to give, whatever the case may be. Even if he didn't want no parts, he had the money to give. He wanted it all for himself. He was selfish. So how can I get rid of this problem instead of just chucking it up? How can I get rid of this problem? Well, I'm gonna come up with a plan and get her killed.
And once again,
I murder for hire.
But it goes back to what we said. Men are practical. I'm going to do the most practical thing I know how to do to get rid of something. You eradicate it, you kill it. Versus, all right, let me process this thing. All right, so cause and effect, antecedent, behavior, consequence. No, just kill it. But Amber, okay, I'm going to step back and I'm going to empathize with Ray Caruth.
Okay.
And if I empathize with Ray Caruth, if I was the prosecuting attorney, I would say something like, well, he's NGRI. If you don't know what that means, he's not guilty by reason of insanity. And I do feel like he should have his child simply because he's traumatized. He's suffering from PTSD from his childhood. He don't know how to communicate. He's institutionalized. He don't know how to communicate. You feel what I'm saying? Like
Girl.
you know, and I'm trying to look at the other side of this thing. I'm trying to look at the other side of this thing because where we are in 2018 is that, look, stop trying to play every card on the table. Because little do you know, the fool is a fool that thinks he's fooling a fool who's really fooling you. Let me replay.
That was deep.
A fool is a fool to the fool who think he's fooling you. So what I need you to understand is Ray Caruth thought this chick was foolish. So, okay, she's a fool. She under me. I'm going to take her out. But she was able to give them all the information before she shut her eyes.
Yep.
That's significant.
Who was in front of her, what was said, what he did. I mean, everything. And you can hear the voice recording for those that didn't have keeping track with it. She's recorded saying, she's in pain. She's saying she's pregnant, 8 months. I was in the car. My boyfriend, Ray, was in front, and a car pulled up behind me, and they started shooting, or beside me, started shooting, and he took off. And she described it to a T. She fought, because she was like, oh, I ain't going to leave here, because this was dirty. Yeah. I'm not going to, Yeah. And the whole thing in itself is just sad. Looking from on the flip side, you want to say, okay, maybe he did, maybe he is rehabilitated and he legit wants to, do right for his child. Okay, maybe, but if he hadn't wrote that Instagram, I would be like, I don't think he would got custody, or it'll be a battle anyway because of just the maternal model and that whole situation.
That's true.
But if he hadn't wrote that Instagram, I probably would have said, yeah, I think he did all right, but. It's like when you get locked up, depending on the person and how bad they want to be rehabilitated.
That's true.
They're stuck in that mind frame from when they got locked up. Have you ever seen a person that got locked up in the 90s, 80s? And they come out.
You know what I'm thinking about. When we used to get all them comments, oh man, I hate women.
When they come out, they kind of still, if they haven't changed within, they still have that mind frame from 20, 30 years ago. Yeah. So this man almost served 20 years, and he was at the height of his career. He was. And he thought he was invincible, and that happened. But,
I wonder who gonna pick him up.
Nobody. He too old.
Child, you don't, girl. They might try. Look, they might look. I'll be like Colin Kaepernick or me.
He too old. But another thing on current events, real quick. If you don't know, and if you've been asleep, there has been a bombing. 2 bombing.
Well, they tried to send them. They tried, but they intercepted them.
They tried to send bombs to the Obamas, the Clintons, and several other people.
CNN.
And CNN and several other people.
Eric Holder.
Eric Holder, yes.
But it's interesting, Amber.
Yeah. They didn't send it to this administration. They sent it to the
old. But see, I have a problem with this thing. Because they either sent it to individuals that were extremely liberal, or they sent it to individuals that identify with the Democratic Party. And this is what I need to say to you people out there. Don't identify a person by a party. When I posted this thing earlier today, one of the comments that I saw was that, well, Maxine Waters did this and Hillary Clinton did this.
Lord.
But my thing is, at no point did I pinpoint a party. I said that, does this man not know? Because in the article, Donald Trump was basically saying we need to unify. But you a bigamist, and you a hypocrite, and you going into early onset Alzheimer's, because in the beginning you gonna build this wall. You want to make America great again. When the hell was America great? Mm-hmm. And the reality is that just because we might be more liberal or more conservative, the reality is that nobody is liberal about everything. Just because I'm liberal about what I can do with my body, I'm conservative about welfare. Mm-hmm. So stop with this party stuff. Do we need to go back and do a whole season on government? Because we did government 101. Again? Yes. We did government 101. We talked about the political administrative dichotomy. We talked to you guys about how the parties changed through the years. We talked about all of that. So dismiss me with this party crap. Mm-hmm. Amber Jane.
You're right. And the last one, this happened in Colorado at a school.
Oh, yeah.
It was career day, and a drag queen by the name of Miss Jessica came and spoke to the kids about her being an entertainer. She didn't use the last name that she performed.
Yeah, out of respect.
It was just out of respect. It was just Miss Jessica. And she was invited by one of the students to come and speak at career day, number one. Two, when the parents found out, some of the parents were in uproar, that they weren't informed that a drag queen was at career day, and if they were informed, their child would not have participated that day in career day. What difference does it make? A career is a career. So is it the fact that it's a man dressed up that's talking to your kids, and you're viewing it as the agenda of the homosexuality, or what? Because that's what it seemed like in the article.
But see, all they want to talk about in the article is the fact that a drag queen spoke to these kids. Mm-hmm. They don't want to talk to the message that the drag queen read excerpts from a book, because the career day was emphasizing and promoting literacy and wanting the kids to read. They don't want to talk about that. Mm-hmm. They don't want to talk about the fact that the drag queen talk about being bullied. They don't want to talk about the fact that so many of the kids felt so much more comfortable after this drag queen spoke to them about bullying and read an excerpt from a book about bullying. See, I'm sick and tired of people picking what they want to pick instead of looking at the complete picture. I don't give a cotton picking hot dag on biscuit if it was a woman dressed as a man, if it's a man dressed as a woman. I don't care what it is. If the message got across that bullying is wrong and kids felt comfortable being who they are, they felt comfortable in their own skin, so be it.
And you know what's interesting?
Parents create this hatred.
That one of the children went up to Miss Jessica and said, "I'm gay. And I feel better, and I'm being bullied." And this is a middle school, right? This is a middle school. And when I was in middle school, it was some people that was coming out of middle school as well. Mm-hmm. They're in middle school saying, "Oh, you made me feel comfortable with coming out, because I'm being bullied." Mm-hmm. Obviously, the parents don't know because of that. You're gonna prevent your child from going to career day if you had known it was a drag. What difference does it make?
Wow.
So now that the child, and if you have a child that's gay or has whatever, that parent, they see their parent do, they're like, well, dang, my mom and my daddy feel some type of way. So that's a constant internal struggle.
And then now the suicidal ideation start. Now the mental illness starts.
I can't be me because I can't be accepted. I'm not going to be accepted.
You know
by
what?
My parents.
That's it.
Which that's the base of it all.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Where does that come from? Mm-hmm. That's a patriarchy thing, especially if you have a son. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You want your son to be this great whatever. Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Shaquille O'Neal. I'm just saying.
But
call to action. Call to action.
Real quick.
Vote. That's all I can say. Vote.
November 6th is midterm elections. It's several people running. You got Corey. Ain't your name Corey? Corey running. Tim Kaine running again. Donald McEachern running again. Abigail, she's running. And whoever else is in your district, read up on them, find out, get informed so you can make the best decision. Don't make it based off the party. Make it based off if you agree.
And you got to make sure you say that louder because, see, for some reason, people think that all black people are all Democrats. I don't know about y'all, but I'm me.
Yeah, they ain't playing.
You need to understand. Yes.
They're blowing my phone, text, coming to the door. They're not playing with these elections because, as of right now, the Republicans are winning by 1 seat. 1 seat.
That's factual.
And to change it, 1 seat.
That's factual.
That's all. Factual. That's all it will take. So please, vote. I will respect you if you look at the candidates. You're like, you know what? I ain't with none of it. I'm just not gonna cast my vote. I don't want to do the lesser of the two evil. I can respect that. I can respect that. But still be informed. At least you're informed.
That's true.
But be informed. Don't just go out here and do it by party. And know your voting rights.
And don't go out there writing people in.
We're in 2018 and they're still suppressing voter rights.
Yep.
It happened in Georgia.
Yep.
Learn your voting rights. Don't let the people tell you which ballot you can't pick. Do you. Do you. Final thoughts?
I mean, you know what? Final thoughts. Embrace who you are. Embrace who you are. Embrace who you are. Embrace who you are. Love who you are. Do what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and how you're going to do it. And stop worrying about what people think. The reality is that at the end of the day, all we can do is be the best we can be. And I'm not going to say living your best life because I'm so sick of y'all. Y'all running it into the ground. Because the reality is that you should have been living your best life anyway before the song came out. But you jump on every bandwagon that come around. Be the best you that you can be. Be the best you that you can be. And just know, Amber J and I love what we do. But we love ourselves first. And the reality is that MBG listens and then we speak. But MBG is also here to try to help and console in whatever way that we can. So, in conclusion, I want to say our biggest condolences to Deputy Farrah Turner in Florence, South Carolina. Y'all know I lost my uncle in this disaster, and she lost her life also, but she was fighting and she just passed away. So, definitely keep the families of Officer Terrence Caraway and Farrah Turner in your prayers. And so, we love you, we love you, we love you. Remember, this is MBG Speaks 101 Season 4. Patriarchy, Power, and Pussy.
Of course, next week we're going to be talking about power.
P-O-W-E-R.
So you'll see the patriarchy and the power and how that's getting connected. And I can't wait to the last part because
she gonna bring in nasty.
That's about to be turned.
But look, thank you for rocking with us. We have brought you your 6 o'clock news for today. Motivational Brown Girls, and we will see you next week, same time, same venue. Good night.
Yay. Thank you, Rose.